Hey YouTube, Avian here. We're back again 1 year later after I started my YouTube channel. We've had another Oceanic Championship and this year I came top 32. That's a pretty good result for myself. I'm pretty proud of myself. This year I decided to play Fiendsmith, Mitsurugi, Ryzeal. It's a meta deck choice. I thought that it played really well against the counters in the current metagame. So if you got Droll, your like one Habakiri gets you into the Fiendsmith engine, and you can just play Fiendsmith control if you get Drolled. If you don't get Drolled, the Ryzeal part of the engine gets you into Protoss, because when I was picking a deck, I wanted to inherently pick an unfair deck, because that's kind of how you win Yu-Gi-Oh! At the moment. So whether that be like Ouroboros doing hand ripping stuff, or you're making Baguska, or you're making Protoss, that's kind of what really like impacts right now for Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's why I picked this particular variant of the deck. Shout out to Dinkabui. It's the main deck's practically a 1-for-1 from his top 32 German nationals list. Shout out to my sister Claire for all the testing that we've been doing. It really helped in my top 64 match against Vanquish Soul, because that's probably the one that we practiced the most coming into this kind of new duad format. Shout out to my partner for being my personal cheerleader. And shout out to the people who last minute got me cards or lent me cards. So that's Kai and Karim back in Melbourne for lending me cards, even though I didn't use them in the end, but they were really helpful in helping me decide which deck. And shout out to Dan for getting me the Eschatos very last minute. Stick around to the end of the deck profile, because I'm going to be opening our new championship packs. So this is the one that contains, I think it's like 1 of 10 cards, and they've got the stamps on them. I also won the card trooper with the stamp on it. It's very nice, and a nice Solaria to go with my Glutonia from last year. So I can finally upgrade my Primite Bestial Regenesis deck and play the correct prize card in that deck. So stick around to the end and we'll open this one. So for the deck profile, we start off with 1 Kusanagi, 1 Saji, 1 Aramasa. This is very standard. And then we also have the Night Sword Serpent, because it helps you get into your level 4s. Doing this, if you don't get Drolled, you can typically make a rank 4 a duo drive, then use the duo drive on one of the rituals to go then into the Fiendsmith engine, and you just hold the Ryzeal cards in hand. You just play the whole combo. That way, then you can't really get nibbed, because if you get nibbed, you just summon a detonator and you pass, and you still have the Mitsurugi cards because they got tributed. And then we also have 2 Manju. I really liked Manju. Manju can be searched off 7 Tachyon with number 104, which is the same one as the Ryzeal ones, if you want to play this in your like kind of heavier Ryzeal variant. But also it's just a hand fixer. So if you have just a ritual monster, just Murukuma for example, you can search Mitsu Ritual with this, and then that's basically full combo. Or if you are just stuck with 1 ritual, then you can search for the Habakiri or the Murukuma with this. So this really fixes hands. It's great in kind of late game states where if you top deck this, it's so strong, because currently in the format there's not really a lot of targeted negation, so not really a lot of imperms, no effect failures, kind of no in-engine target negation as well. So this resolves very frequently. It's just a matter of whether you get Drolled or not. Next up for the big guys, we have 3 Habakiri, your 1 card starter, 2 Murokumo, and 1 Futsu. Futsu is great for the grind game against Ryzeal. So against Ryzeal, you just keep summoning bodies, and if they try to detonator, you just tribute off one of the Saji or Kusanagi or Aramasa, and like this basically infinitely lives and keeps summoning back bodies. And as long as you have bodies, then the next turn, like if you finish your opponent's turn on like 2 random bodies, you can then just link them off into Moon, and that gives you a really strong push as well, because the Fiendsmith engine's like basically infinite. And then 2 Murokumos, because we're playing more, it's closer to a pure Mitsurugi list with a little bit of Fiendsmith, a little bit of Ryzeal. This helps you play through like Bestials, and helps you, if you get them stuck in your hand and you need to ritual something else from hand, and then you need to, you have the option to summon it from deck basically. We then have 3 ritual, 3 Prez. Prez is the these two cards are the best way to play 2-draw. So if you have prayers in any of the level 4s, you go prayers during the draw phase and tribute the level 4s. Even if you draw like prayers, Habakiri, you tribute the Habakiri during the draw phase, summon out Saji, and then that way you go Channeling 1, Channeling 2 Saji. So Saji will search you for ritual, and then this can back up search you for ritual. Just as a way of playing through draw, because if you open ritual plus a ritual monster, you can then summon the first one from hand, summon the second one from deck, and then your first search is for like a prayers, and then that lets you kind of tribute the army on your opponent's turn and still have that interaction. So it's really important that you like have 3 of this, because seeing in your opening hand makes it so much more powerful. Then we have our one-offs. We have 1 Magatama and 1 Mirror. This is just a little bit of extra interaction for if you draw a really heavy Mitsu hand. And the Mirror is for enabling the 3 Preparation of Rites, which Droll hits hard, but also Preparation of Rites is just such a crazy card that people will, they'll ash it, they'll draw, they'll ash it, they'll bell it. But like if it resolves, you're like so good. It also helps you set up a board with like Futsu and Ame and Habakiri legally summoned as well. So it kind of helps you get more bodies on the field. So that's our Mitsurugi engine. Next up, our Fiendsmith engine. We're playing very minimal. We're playing 1 Lacrima, which dumps the Engraver. And then if you have the Engraver in hand, it searches for Sanct. It's Sanct because it means that we don't have to play the Lorry, and it also means that we don't lose to Droll. So if your hand is like Habakiri, Engraver, and like some other stuff, you like start with Engraver first, so then you search Sanct so you don't lose to Droll. Whereas if you like start with Habakiri and you get Drolled, you're kind of like in a bad spot where you're using a lot of resources, and then this gets stuck in your hand as well. So having this has been very, very, very good to me. A lot of the times I did get Drolled in the Engraver search, and still you're able to end on like a Caesar without, if you don't have a normal summon in your hand. But the Charmies act like really good normal summons because they're also level 4s. Then we have the Ryzeal part. We're playing 1 Ice, 2 X'd, 1 Sword. These all like go into each other. So typically off Duo Drive, I would be searching for these 2, and then you normal Ice, special X'd, special Sword, search X'd, and then you can summon the X. So that's 2 rank 4s right there. Or if you start with X'd, then you search for Sword, and then Sword you can normal summon this, 2 rank 4s. So it's really good to get into other parts. Even if you start with just Sword, you can make Duo Drive and then you can special this, or you can even normal summon this and it gets you into like 3 bodies, which is okay because your Fiendsmith engine has 1 level 4, your Mitsu engine gets you 2 level 4s. So you can typically get 3 rank 4s during your turn. And we'll talk more about what those 3 rank 4s are later. And then our inherently unfair cards, Nemesis Flag and Protoss. This is just the format you need to play an unfair card to be able to win games. Protoss Call Dark is very good against, like, if you do it blind against like Malice, if you do it blind against Mitsurugi Ryzeal. Even though it like uses up your Mitsurugi cards, but if you've gone full Mitsurugi combo, you have prayers in hand, you can just play it as follow-up next turn. You use the Mitsu cards to get into all your rank 4s and your Fiendsmith engine. So you can finish with like Agnum Day, Lacrima, Desiree in graveyard, and then Detonator on the field with a Protoss. And like you're winning those games because your opponent just doesn't have access to half of their deck or whole of their deck if they're playing Malice. And then we have Bonfire, can search for Nemesis Flag, or it can search for Ice and X'd. So it just kind of gets you what you need. It means that you don't have to use the Infernal Flame Banshee to search it, so you can save one of your rank 4s. We have Call by the Grave for Droll and for Charmies as well. For our hand trap lineup, we're playing 3 Foolos and 3 Purulia. Kind of mandatory in the format that you're just playing these, otherwise you like lose to Malice, or you literally can't win a game going second unless you draw one of these or Droll. And like they have to resolve. So during my like top 32, game 3, sudden death, we like shuffle up, we side, we shuffle up, I lose the dice roll, I go second, I see Purulia, I'm like, thank God, I activate Purulia and they call by me, and then they go full combo, rip 2 cards out of my hand with Ouroboros, and then there's just nothing I can do. So yeah, you kind of like, you need to see these ones, and like most importantly, these are level 4s. So there'll be situations in the deck where like there's just no good normal summon. Everything like specials themselves out. So you'll just like normal summon a Charmy because it's useless otherwise. You'll normal summon the Charmy, like you go Ritual, send like summon from hand, send Serpent and Kusanagi. Serpent summons back. You summon a Purulia, and then you overlay those for a Duo Drive, and it's a very like good use for your normal summon because again your Duo Drive gets into like 3 Ryzeal names after that. Then we're also playing 3 Droll and Lockbird, part of the mandatory. And then we have 1 Ash and 1 Nibiru. Nib's really good to have something to draw into because if you're playing against like Lunar Light or Heraldic Beast, they'll disregard your Charmies a lot of the time. So you need to like have some form of punish in there. So if your opponent sees the Nibiru, they'll kind of think twice, or if they see an Ash Blossom, they'll think twice, you know, they're like, okay, well, what else does he have in his deck? He might have Bells, he might have Imperms, you know. Even though like, I mean, the deck's really tight with Engine, it's just about like the mind games. Also the Nib is searchable off Gallant Granite, just as another potential end piece. So that's it for our main deck. Moving on to our extra deck. We'll start off with our rank 4s. So we have Gallant Granite, Infernal Flame Banshee, and King of the Feral Imps. These are our kind of like toolbox cards. Unfortunately, these all search, so you can't like end on it with like under Droll. I was considering putting like Baguska in for like Droll scenarios, but the extra deck's like really tight. I don't think that I want to cut any of it. If anything, like I think the most least used card I had was IP, just purely because of the combos that I was doing wasn't like playing into them. So search for your Habakiri. It's great if you start with just Ryzeal cards. This one searches for Nemesis Flag, and then you summon Protoss with it. And then this one searches for Nibiru. So you like choose one of these 2 pieces to be your end board, and then your other 2 rank 4s that you're making are these 2. So you go 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 as your like end board pieces, because you can make 3 XE monsters. The Duo Drive just searches for the Ryzeal pieces. Again, you do that pretty early in the combo, so then you've got the Ryzeals in hand in case you get nibbed. And then Dene is always a good card. It just bolsters your end board and gives you an option. If you get Full Lost, you can like play with your Ryzeal cards. That's the other reason. Like this deck, you can play around like each Charmy in a particular way. Obviously, like you're going to give them some draws, but you know you're not giving them 1,000. You're not kind of locked out of playing your turn completely because of the Charmies. Then we have our Aggregator to send with the Ext, and we've got High Wave Caesar. So we're getting into our Fiendsmith stuff. Necro Princess. This is good, very good against Mitsurugi, very good against Malice, very good against Vanquish Soul. It's just a matter of whether you want to go into these. So typically the lines that I was doing is I would make Agnum Day and then summon Lacrima back as another level 4 that I could use, just depending on your hand, but you can also go to these. This isn't as good in this deck because we're not main decking Fiendsmith in Paradise. We're side decking it, so after the side decking, I would probably go to this line, but prior to that, if I've already like cleared their nib, I'm playing with like Desiree and Agnum Day. So then we got Desiree, Moon, Requiem, Sequence, Agnum Day. So just like classic Fiendsmith cards. And then our last 2 cards are Dynamondo and IP Masquerena. IP, I didn't summon all weekend, but that's purely because of the combos that I was doing. That doesn't mean that there aren't combos possible with this card. And also, I was calling Dark a lot with Protoss, so IP is useless there anyway. Dynamondo is a need to keep to out Baguska though. You can also use it to out Tikaboo for Vanquish Soul. So if you like summon you go Ritual summon your Reptile, and then you normal summon like anything else. Because the deck has a lot of types in it. It's just, but each sub engine like kind of locks themselves into themselves if you're under Tikaboo. For our side deck, we have 6 going first cards. So we have 2 Ash Blossoms, 2 Bestials, and then 1 Purification, 1 Paradise. Because you're taking 6 Charmies out, 6 cards need to go in. The ashes are for negating your opponent's Charmies. These 2 are to bolster your end board. And then the Duostone and the Mag, they're just good this format. They hit the Rituals Engraved. They can hit Eclipse Twins, which is pretty important because it's very easy to out one Detonator. It's very hard to out it when it comes back. So that's what these are really good for. And they're just kind of like very generic cards that you can put in going first and like a good into certain matchups as well. Then we have Eschatos. Very, very strong against Malice. So against Malice, I would keep both Protoss and Eschatos in. If you like draw them in your opening hand, you just like play through all your opponent's interactions. You'll play through like literally all of them by using all the rest of your cards in hand. And then you just special this, and your opponent looks at you and they're like, and you call Cyburst, and it wipes their entire field. They don't have follow-up, and then next turn you just like slowly grind it out. You just like call Cyburst every turn, or you call Dark with Protoss every turn, and you slowly regain your advantage because you can, like, any 2 bodies is Fiendsmith combo, and it's very easy to get back into the Mitsurugi combo if you're using Eschatos and not Protoss. We have mandatory 3 lands here. Malice exists, and it's also just randomly good against other decks. Like Heraldic Beast, it's really good against Heraldic Beast. It's good against Lunar Light. It's just randomly good against a lot of decks, and Crystron as well. And then 2 Meows. Playing 2 Meows because I needed to make space for something else. I only played 2 Malice players this weekend, so it wasn't like too sorely missed. And plus Lancy hits anyway. So like there's 5 cards for Malice. You should hypothetically draw at least one of them. And then the last card, this is the card that's different in the deck profile. 3 Lava Golem. This is to deal with the Lunar Light matchup. I could also potentially do like 1 Wosu, 1 Meows, and then 1 something else. Maybe like Fossil Diners, search off the Gallant Granite. But I decided to go for Lava Golem because I'm like Baguska. I think it's like Baguska and then 2 Liger Dancers. It's really hard to out. So like this just like deals with it, right? It's also really good at dealing with just like random rogue decks as well. Sometimes, like, you know, they don't like getting, you know, 2 monsters removed from the field. It's like, yeah, it's randomly good. I never saw it this weekend though. Like I would side it in and I would just never draw it. But you know, that's okay. They were there in case I needed them. Our precious prize pack. Now I have opened this already, but I haven't seen the card. I've opened it because it's a very hard pack to open. You can see there's no like kind of jagged edges for you to open it with, but I do not know the cards inside. So for our first prize card, we have received Gargaga Magician. That's very nice. All right, thank you everyone for watching. Like and subscribe to keep up with my content. Hopefully I'll be doing more Pearly content. I really miss the deck. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.